or electrical lines. Keep a hurricane lamp burning as it may make the night more tolerable. Listen to the radio for information on what's happening. Be sure to understand the hurricane warning system. Have on hand simple first aid supplies. Keep plastic bags, nails, hammer, and other tools handy. Do not go outside unless it's absolutely necessary. These are hurricane tips from CBX. Be safe.
The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The Business News Headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible. Industrial price gains, unconventional housing fixes, and a banking meltdown on Britain's payday. Hello, welcome to CBX Business News for Friday, June 27, 2025. I'm Yanil Wood. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast locally. Producer price indexes for Jamaica's mining and quarrying and manufacturing industries both increased by 0.7% in May. On the regional front, Bermuda's government presses banks to offer 50-year mortgages in a bid to jumpstart its stalled housing market. And over on the global stage, a massive tech failure brings UK banking to a standstill on payday, leaving customers locked out of their funds and demanding answers. Stay tuned. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after this break.
Alphabet down 6, Microsoft down 5.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with the latest economic indicators locally. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin has reported a 0.7% increase in the Producer Price Index PPI for the mining and quarrying industry for May 2025. In a release on Thursday, Statin attributed the movement to a similar 0.7% rise in the index for the major group bauxite mining and alumina processing. The PPI for the other major group, other mining and quarrying, rose by 0.6%. Meanwhile, statin is also reporting a 0.7% increase in the index for the manufacturing industry during the review period. Additionally, upward movements in the indexes for food, beverages, and tobacco, 0.6%, refined petroleum products, 1.3%, and chemicals and chemical products, 0.8%, significantly contributed to the industry's overall increase. For the period May 2024 to May 2025, the point-to-point index for the mining and quarrying industry rose by 8.5%. This was due to an increase of 7.8% in the index for the major group, bauxite mining and alumina processing. And the point-to-point index for the manufacturing industry increased by 0.5%. This was due to a 4.4% increase in the index for the major group food, beverages, and tobacco. However, the industry's overall movement was tempered by a 13.6% fall in the index for the major group refined petroleum products. Caribbean Cement Company has officially commissioned its $6.7 billion or US $42 million bottleneck project at its Rockford facility. Speaking during the commissioning ceremony on Thursday, Carib Cement's Communications and Social Impact Coordinator Chad Bryan says this project will maximize assets to increase production capacity.
The Bottleneck Project in cement operations is an initiative aimed at identifying and eliminating constraints or inefficiencies in the production process that limit output. The goal is to maximize the use of existing assets to increase capacity, improve throughput, reduce downtime, and enhance product quality.
He added that the project underscores the company's commitment to meeting Jamaica's cement demand and playing a key role in national development.
Marks a bold step forward, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible as we strive to enhance both the efficiency and long-term stability of our operations. But this project is more than an investment in infrastructure. It is a clear and powerful demonstration of our steadfast commitment to meeting Jamaica's full local demand for cement while laying the foundation for sustainable growth and national development.
Communications and Social Impact Coordinator at Caribbean Cement, Chad Bryan. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, speaking at the ceremony, says this major investment will support Jamaica's pursuit of industrialization.
We take another crucial step in Jamaica's pursuit of industrialization, self-sufficiency, and sustained economic growth. I was pleased to be here in August 2022 at the groundbreaking for this project, and today I'm even more pleased to be back for the commissioning.
He noted that transforming the industrial backbone, supporting construction and cement production is essential.
Cement is the lifeblood of construction, and it's not just housing, it's also in road construction. It forms the foundation for housing, bridges, schools, hospitals, and factories. When local demand for cement outpaces supply, as has increasingly been the case, we are forced to import, adding costs, creating delays, and increasing our dependence on external supply chains.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. In other news, Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ is advising taxpayers that the General Consumption Tax GCT Form 4A became available for filing on Wednesday, June 25 via the Revenue Administration Information System RAISE e-Services platform. However, the deadline for GCT payment remains Monday, June 30. Importantly, businesses are reminded that GCT payments must be made on or before Monday, June 30 to avoid the imposition of interest and penalties for late payment. The extension applies only to the filing of the return and not the payment due date. Taxpayers are encouraged to make every effort to complete their GCT payments on time and take advantage of the convenience and security of TAJ's online services. And local fashion entrepreneurs are set to showcase fresh collections and seize sales opportunities at the 5th staging of Sugar Lifestyle's annual Tailored Jamaican Experience, slated for tomorrow at ATL Automotive on Oxford Road. The event aims to boost market presence for homegrown designers while driving direct consumer sales and forging latest client relationships. Moved up from October to kick off the summer season, the event highlights handcrafted apparel and accessories for men and women. Featured designers include celebrity hairstylist Nia Liss and Lucien Harrison, Trendsy by Akelia of Mission Catwalk Season 7, Lamona Designs, and UNESCO Seal of Fashion awardee Cinderella Hats. The showcase strengthens Jamaica's fashion industry by connecting designers with clients and promoting homegrown entrepreneurship in a growing creative market. Now for news from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. At the end of currency trading on Friday, the US dollar is selling for $160.82, the Canadian for $118.24, and the pound sterling for $219.78. $190.56 is the going rate for the euro. Next, to trading news from the Jamaica Stock Exchange. 105 stocks traded on the JSE Friday, of which 46 advanced, 33 declined, and 26 traded firm. Leading the winners were Cygnus Credit Investments Jamaican Dollar Ordinary Shares, Jamaica Public Service Company 7%, Omni Industries, and Cygnus Credit Investments 10% Preference Shares Class H. While the losers were led by Berger Paints, Lasco Manufacturing, Indus Pharma Ordinary Shares, and Caribbean Cream. Now the main index advanced by 1,349.94 points, or 0.43%, to close at 312,696.64. The junior market index also advanced but by 18.56, or 0.55%, to close at 3,415.99. And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard. Now in today's Market Education Feature, we'll be discussing the term production plan. A production plan is a detailed roadmap that outlines how a company will efficiently produce goods or deliver services. It sets clear goals, lists required resources, maps key processes, and defines timelines. The goal is to boost productivity, reduce costs, and ensure quality. There are 5 main types: job-based, flow, batch, mass production, and process manufacturing, each suited to different production needs. An effective plan ensures smooth operations, minimizes waste, and helps meet customer demand efficiently. The Market Education Feature was brought to you by CariCris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for Market Education Feature and the end of the local segment. Please stay with us. The regional business news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Has so much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
We're here to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for Safe to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using simplified customer due diligence requirements, also called CDD.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
And now for regional business news. In news from Bermuda, a bold call is being made for banks to radically rethink how they support home ownership and residential development, with Minister of Housing Zane Da Silva urging financial institutions to offer mortgage terms of up to 50 years to ease financial burden on working families. Speaking on Wednesday during a cost of living summit, the housing minister criticized banks for imposing stringent lending conditions that shut out even high-earning individuals from accessing home loans.
Why can't the banks look at giving people 30 and 40 and 50-year mortgages? Now, you might say, Zane, that's crazy. If I'm 28, 30 years old, 40, 50, and I got a 50-year mortgage, I'll be dead before it's paid. Exactly, so what? That's what your children are for.
Minister Da Silva argued that extending mortgage terms to 30, 40, even 50 years could significantly lower monthly payments and make home ownership more attainable, especially for younger borrowers.
I'm a senior now, right? I will take a mortgage tomorrow for 40 years. I'll take one for 50. Because you know what? If you take the larger the mortgage, you may pay more interest over time, but what it does is reduces your payments every month. And it gives people an opportunity to live and make it, right? So as long as the bank doesn't give you a hefty balloon payment penalty, right? The banks need to expand the amount of years, give people more opportunities to earn, and also give them the ability to pay off if they work hard and if they want to save that extra money, make balloon payments every year.
Bermuda's Housing Minister, Zane Da Silva. Guyana's hospitality industry is on the cusp of a major transformation, with 6 international standard hotels slated to open within the next year. Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo says these additions are expected to inject 1,500 premium hotel rooms into the country's accommodation stock. He was speaking on Thursday during his weekly press conference.
6 international hotels will be open up within the next year. They will add 1,500 rooms, international type rooms, to the numbers that we have now.
The surge doesn't stop at the international level. According to government officials, another 18 locally financed hotels are currently under development across the country.
Apart from the 6, there are about 18 local hotels that are being built that would add another 1,000 rooms, but not international type hotels. And they're spending $20 billion, but these are small hotels, and and they're right across the country.
Vice President of Guyana, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo. In other news, Total Energies has secured a 25% stake in Block 53 offshore Suriname, acquiring the share from Spain's Moive, formerly CEPSA, the company announced earlier today. While financial details were not disclosed, the deal cements Total Energies' position as a dominant early mover in one of the world's top emerging exploration zones. Block 53 sits directly beside the $10.5 billion Grand Morgue development, which Total Energies sanctioned in October and expects to bring online by the first half of 2028. The Deepwater project is estimated to contain over 700 million barrels of recoverable resources and will eventually produce up to 200,000 barrels per day. The newly acquired acreage includes the 2022 Baja 1 discovery, which recorded 34 meters of net oil per pay at a depth of over 5,000 meters. The proximity of Grand Morgue offers strategic synergy, allowing Total Energies to tie in Baja 1 to existing infrastructure and potentially extend the plateau of production at its flagship Suriname project. APA Corporation, headquartered in Houston, remains operator of Block 53 with a 45% stake, while Malaysian state-owned Petronas holds 30%. And we go now to trading news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. 18 securities traded on the TTSE Friday, of which 6 advanced, 7 declined, and 5 traded firm. Leading the winners were the West Indian Tobacco Company, Massey Holdings, Prestige Holdings, and JMMB Group, while the losers were led by CIBC Caribbean Bank, Trinidad Cement, Unilever Caribbean, and National Flour Mills. Other results include the All TNT Index advancing by 1.48 to close at 1,506.10. However, the Composite Index declined by 6.31 to close at 1,029.33. And the Cross-Listed Index also declined, but by 2.05 to close at 72.68. And still remaining at 91.89 is the SME Index. And we go for a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment with Nielsen Rose is up next.
Hi, I'm Nielsen Rose, host of Let's Talk Stocks, reminding you that health is indeed wealth and time is really money. Why not spend a little time with us? Weekday mornings, 9 to 9:30 a.m. for your daily dose of business, economic, and investment insights.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. In the international news today, several major banks in the United Kingdom, including Lloyds, Halifax Nationwide, TSB, Bank of Scotland, and First Direct, experienced widespread technical disruptions on Friday, affecting online and mobile banking services. The outage, which hit on payday for many Britons, caused delays in salary deposits and other transactions, leaving customers unable to access funds or make payments. Banks acknowledged the issues and said they were working to resolve them, though no cause had been disclosed. Regulators, including the FCA and PSR, have been notified. The incident adds to growing concerns over the resilience of the UK's digital banking infrastructure, especially during high-demand periods. Services were gradually being restored by Friday afternoon, but some users continued to report issues. A full investigation is expected. The U.S. Personal Consumption Expenditure PCE Price Index rose 0.1% month over month in May of 2025, matching April's increase and aligning with market expectations. Goods prices also climbed 0.1%, while services prices rose 0.2%, up from 0.1% the previous month. The core PCE index, which excludes food and energy, rose 0.2%, slightly above the 0.1% increase seen in the prior 2 months and ahead of forecasts. Food prices increased 0.2% after falling 0.3% in April, while energy prices dropped 1%, reversing a 0.5% gain the previous month. On an annual basis, headline PCE inflation accelerated to 2.3%, up from a revised 2.2% and in line with market expectations. Core PCE inflation edged up 2.7% from a revised 2.6%, slightly above the 2.6% forecast. The PCE index is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge and will likely factor into upcoming monetary policy decisions. China on Friday confirmed the details of a new trade framework with the United States, marking a significant step toward easing tensions between the world's two largest economies. According to China Commerce Ministry, Beijing will begin reviewing and approving export license applications for items subject to export controls, including critical rare earth minerals. In return, the U.S. has agreed to lift a series of restrictive measures previously imposed on China. The deal stems from negotiations held in Geneva and London earlier this year, which laid the groundwork for a formal framework. While specific details remain limited, the agreement appears to prioritize access to rare earth elements vital for high-tech industries such as defense, electric vehicles, and electronics. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk has fired Omid Ashfar, the company's vice president of manufacturing and operations. Ashfar, who reported directly to Musk, oversaw a team of senior executives and played a key role in Tesla's production strategy. His dismissal follows year-over-year declines in Tesla's vehicle sales across key markets, raising questions about the company's operational direction. No official reason, however, has been given for the firing. And those were your international business stories. After the break, join Neil for your recap.
Welcome back, and now to recap our top stories. Locally, PPI for mining and quarrying and manufacturing industries increased by 0.7% in May. Regionally, Bermuda's government presses banks to offer 50-year mortgages. And on the international scene, a massive tech failure brings UK banking to a standstill on payday. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of Nielsen Rose and the entire production team, I am Yanil Wood, inviting you to have a wonderful weekend and support our athletes. And thank you for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.